This presentation addresses the 2015 African American Heritage Celebration held at the Tarrant County College South Campus on February 25, 2015. Dr. Sean R. Harper's research examines race in education and social context and college student engagement, particularly that of Black male students. In the 2009 article, Beyond Sameness with Engagement and Outcomes for All, Harper and Quay write that students who are actively engaged in educationally purposeful activities and experiences, both inside and outside the classroom, are more likely than are their disengaged peers to persist through graduation. Year after year, the African American Heritage event has engaged students, faculty, staff, and community members in an incredible exploration and celebration of African American heritage. This year was no different. Taking a look at attendance, we see that this year there were 211 attendees. This was the highest number of attendees so far. 139 of those attendees provided survey responses. And it's important to note that this year's inclement weather and repeated campus closings related to icy road conditions did not seem to impact attendance. The numbers were actually slightly higher this year than in the past. One of the things that we notice from the surveys is that the event draws students and the community together. If you'll notice, in 2014, 55% of the attendees were students, and this year, about the same, 56% were students. Last year, 31% of the attendees responding were part of the community, and this year, 22% of our guests were community members or other guests. We have about the same number of faculty attending this year as last year, but there was a slight increase, almost double, in the number of staff members who participated. The number of administrators remained the same. Lots of returning attendees. You'll notice that the number of respondents who indicated that they had attended in the past almost doubled compared to the number of the respondents who reported that they had attended in the past last year. And more are likely to return for other cultural events. 67% agreed or strongly agreed that they are likely to attend another cultural event at Tarrant County College. Last year, 89% agreed or strongly agreed that they were likely to attend another cultural event at Tarrant County College. And as indicated on the previous slide, we saw those numbers. Those students did return. The next two slides address connections. 76% of participants agreed or strongly agreed that this event helped them identify ways they could positively impact their families and/or their community. And in terms of celebrating culture, when asked if this event demonstrated ways in which African American culture touches others throughout the world, 65% agreed or strongly agreed. Additionally, when asked if this event provided a rich cultural experience, 66% agreed or strongly agreed. Effectiveness. There are many who believe that student engagement is not just the responsibility of the student, but also the responsibility of the institution. Kuh, 2003, wrote that student engagement referred to the time and energy that students devote to educationally sound activities inside and outside of the classroom, and the policies and practices that institutions use to induce students to take part in these activities. On the survey, participants were asked whether or not they felt like they now have a greater appreciation for African American heritage. The majority, 71%, either agreed or strongly agreed with this statement. Another question asked if the information presented was interesting. 74% agreed or strongly agreed that the information was clear and engaging. A third question asked participants if they felt like they had ample time to enjoy the program, and 72% agreed or strongly agreed with this statement. This is important because last year a number of comments suggested that the program was too long, and this year, out of over 100 comments, fewer than 1% indicated that the program seemed too long. This is an area where the committee took feedback from the comments before and made changes to the program so that it was even better received by the participants. Increasing knowledge. One of the many issues facing community colleges today is the achievement gap between different racial and ethnic groups. As part of its commitment to creating a culture of inquiry and evidence, Tarrant County College has begun examining this data and exploring ways to close those gaps. There exists a growing body of literature which speaks to the importance of out-of-class involvement and engagement in student retention and academic achievement. So programs such as the annual African American Heritage event help move the college beyond a focus on deficits and engage students in meaningful identity-building, community-building experiences that promote achievement. When asked if they learned something new about African American heritage, slightly more than half of the participants agreed or strongly agreed. When asked specifically what they learned, there were over 158 comments. Among the top were our individual power to make choices and bring change, the strong, rich history of African Americans, the story of Louis Armstrong, and the history of soul food and its role in culture. The remainder of the comments focus on the best parts of the evening and areas for improvement. When asked about the best part of the evening, there were 110 comments that covered a wide range of things, but among the top were the keynote speaker, Tommy Ford, the soul food provided by Buttons, and bass poetry. Here are some of the comments that were shared by participants. I have enjoyed every part of this evening. Tommy Ford was excellent. The food was fantastic. The presentations were fun to watch and listen to. Anthony Douglas, awesome. The food was great. I enjoyed the display of talent. Tommy Ford was awesome. I really enjoyed the dance, rap, and poetry. The additional comments focused on strengthening the African American Heritage event for future years. A lot of people loved it just like it was, and their comments said that nothing should be changed. However, there were some comments that offered some constructive feedback, and some of the recommendations focused on improvements in organization and the presentation by the MCs. There were actually 19 suggestions that offered new ideas for consideration. Some of those had to do with entertainment, some of them had to do with promoting the event in the community, some of them had to do with food, and others had to do with increasing audience participation and making the event even more engaging for those that are present. Overall, this event once again was a huge success. This presentation was just a summary of the data that was provided, but you can get the full report from Dr. Bob McKizzie, who is the chair of the AAHE committee. For questions about the data, you can contact the campus data chair at the TCC Southeast Campus, Dr. Jacqueline Miner, and contact information is provided on the screen. Thank you.